Okay, let's talk dongles. Playing with my dongle again, and this time it's a multi-prong dongle, so wrap your head around that one. Thank you to Akliam for reaching out and saying, would you like to try the PD6, and then sending me the PD3, PD5, and the PD6 if one wasn't enough to test. Thank you for that. My plate was full. And these take a huge amount of time. You have no idea how much time it takes and listening over many sessions. And I have to take breaks because my ear holes hurt from swapping out all the time. It's crazy. Anyway, moving on. PD3, first one up, $28. Wired with this little wire. 3.5 only, built like a brick, hoo-hoo. USB-C. Now, here's my first criticism and a little bit of feedback to Akliam. Make this a braided cable. This is pretty. It's high quality, but it needs to it needs to have a braid on it for durability. That's just some feedback there. Cirrus Logic 43198 in the USB-C. It's got a RBC light. If I see if I can fire that one up here. Grab a DAP, any DAP, monk. Little RGB light, red. I got it to go blue, purple, white, I think. Not sure how many other colors. We'll get into ranking afterwards. DSD 256 and gold-plated USB-C. So it's got a lot of things going for it for 28 bucks. I threw it in my to-go bag for a while before I wrapped my head around its sound signature. And let's keep going. PD5. Detachable now. Again, comes with a very similar cord. And has a little transparent window on the back. It says PD5. There is a light. Oh my gosh, what did I just do with that DAP? That was classic. There is a little RGB light on it with a little screen on it to cut down its brightness. Good job, guys. I like it. 4.4 and 3.5 on this one. This was now using, and should have let off with this. Why more dongles? Why would I even take on more dongle reviews? Well, because not all three of these are Cirrus Logic, which I see in the market is flooded with Cirrus Logic dongles. They're not too far apart from one another, feature-wise, this, that, blah, blah, blah. PD5. 8K DAC, the 4493, one of my absolute favorites. It's in my Gishelli J2, which I absolutely adore. I love that implementation of that DAC chip in there. It's very clean, very uncolored. 6 filter modes, 100-step volume controls, independent. Op amps are the RT6863s, built-in FPGA DSP processing, DSD512, 2 times 130 milliwatts now in high gain, in 3.5 at 32 ohms. That's got some juice. 2 times 255 milliwatts into 4.4 balance. So yeah, right? Next up, PD6, the one I was really interested in because it's using the latest, greatest ESS Saber DAC, the 9039 Q2M. DSD 512, 4.4 again, 3.5. Buttons on the side, mode button, plus minus. Anybody familiar with the TPZs, the TRN, TE Pro, probably coming out of the same factory because the buttons and functionality and features are very similar. But the ES DAC chip inside this is very unique. Again, OLED display, which is really nice. Easy to see. Dimmable, right? You can turn it on, turn it off. 8 filter modes, 100-step volume control, SPDIF output, which is absolutely why. 2 times 243 milliwatts at 32 ohms, 4.4 balance. So actually a little bit less power than the PD5. Comes in with the same cord the PD5 was. Braided change, please. This is the problem with these cables and the woven ones. They just don't stand up, in my opinion. That's why that DD Hi-Fi one always uses the a PVC wrapped around it or some kind of fabric jacket to protect it. I think that's for longevity. Not a real big deal because the cables are removable and interchangeable, but what if you only have one, right? Also comes with a case. Here's my second criticism. When you plug stuff in and out, it slides out of the case. Case needs to be 2 sizes smaller. So you shove this thing in and it stays there. What I normally do is if I'm going to use a case, I'll take some 2-sided tape and shove it in, and then it's actually never coming out of there. So let's move on to sound signatures. There's going to be a whole bunch of guests that pop into this review, so bear with me. PD3, what do I like? Small size. I like the fact that it's got the RGB rate on it. I mean, this is a $28 dongle. It's well built and it's wired already, so you can't lose this cable. You stick it in your go bag, you're good to go whenever you feel like it. Downsides, well, I'll keep going with the pluses. The bling factor I like. Now, 3.5 only. Again, not a big deal. Budget piece. Akliam calls this one delicate and analog sounding. I can get, and power-wise, not sure, but I get to 54 out of 100 on volume controls, sending it out of one of my sources on the Meyer Audio D62, and that was as loud as I could get. So plenty of juice driving normal IAMs. Sound. Does it sound like Akliam says, delicate and analog? No. It's a tad mid-forward. It's elevated, but not overly boosted, if that makes sense. Not in your face. It's clean with very solid bass. Delicate stage. That's a nice way of saying quite intimate, but not nearly as wide. And that's the difference as soon as you jump to the PD5 and you plug the two in side by side. You can tell that the stage difference is hugely noticeable difference on the $68 one versus the $28 one. And which is really funny is that it's not really, it kind of is what I would stereotype Cirrus Logic DAC chips, in the fact that it's clinically clean, slightly musical in the fact that it has a little bit of warmth to it, and quite uncolored. Not really too much warmth in this one, but I will give you the uncolored except for the kind of elevated upper mids. And that's really, you're really going to be able to tell that when you're switching different sources. The PD3 overall for me had solid bass, forward mids, articulate highs. That's kind of how it sounded. I I would think the PD3 would be best for darker and warmer IMs, and not so great for kind of V-shaped, elevated bass and elevated upper mids already. So unless you want to enhance that even more, well, then PD3 on the go dongle is your choice. I think it's great for portability in your to-go bag. I think that's what is really good. Up against it, quite interesting now, is the newest EPZ, the TP35. I will say, I mean, the two are really small. I mean, there's a picture I'll show with a whole bunch in comparison. But honestly, sound-wise, it's no competition for the TP35. It's smoother, more natural sounding, bigger stage, more uncolored in its frequency balance. Mids are not pushed forward. Instrumental vocals both sound more natural. There's more options. There's filters. There's gain control. There's more power. You get 3.5 and 4.4. So for $30 more, $55, TP35. Now, what if I pay $5 more and I get into the Akliam PD5? They claim that PD5 sounds natural. That's their thing. It upgrades the PD3 with a gain switch and the AKM DAC, the 4493 controls. Now you get volume controls, independent ones, sourced independent as well. You get the smoother, more balanced sound, more natural sounding vocals over the first two I just mentioned, especially the PD3 though. Again, versus the PD5 versus the EPZ TP35. The Akliam has the slight edge for clarity and resolution over the TP35, as well as the bass pulls down lower with more definition. I think both of these are competing with a pretty awesome price point, but I give the PD5 the edge, the nod for the winner between the two. PD6, $86. You get now that ESS DAC, the 9039 Q2M. It is the most feature-rich, has the OLED screen, the most resolving, and the most balanced sound. This one would be best for the most uncolored, accurate reproduction, a great all-rounder, not warm, not dry, not forward. PD6. And just for the hell of it, let's throw in two more. Why not? And this, well, actually, kind of three more. $109, the EPZ TP50 and the TRN TE Pro. Now, I think these two are exactly the same dongle. The TP Pro, actually the TE Pro, sorry, has more bling factor, clear window, that kind of stuff over the two, smaller form factor. Both use the Cirrus Logic 43198s, both have OLED display, 256 decoding, if that's a deal for you, versus 512. Versus the PD6. The PD6 has more tactile buttons than the TE Pro and the TP50, in my opinion. I think they're the most well done. So for control wise, functionality wise, very, very well done. But sound, the big one, PD6 all the way. Cleaner, more resolving, nicer top end, better stage, better timbre of instrument tonality on vocals as well. So 50, what? So an $86 dongle versus $109 dongles. The Akliam PD6 is the winner chicken dinner. Also, I forgot to mention what I used for my testing. I used an absolute bunch of different IMs with different flavors. I've used the new Pula with the bone conduction. I've used the Katori Audio, the Zephyr that I'm testing. Save $150 for that one. And the plunge audio prototypes that I have that I've had for a while that I'm not sure of getting released ever. But if they do, you're in for a treat. It's my neutral reference set. Absolutely fantastic. And a bunch of others. So that's what I used for my impressions. Just wanted to share that and put this in that vid. I did throw another one in there, and that was the Onyx Alpha. But let's talk about the that in conclusion here. So for $28, now all of these are going to go on sale 11/11 around there, about 10% off. So you can get the PD3 for like $20. I think it's a great budget dongle, well built, best for laid back, warmer IMs. That's its shtick. $60 will be kind of around the sale price for the PD5. The AKM smoothness, great resolution and clarity. Volume controls are great, and it edges out the TP35 just slightly. The TP35, again, I think it's another stellar dongle. Tiny size. Love the size. I love that LED with my high-res sticker on it. Filters do make a sonic difference. In the Akliams, I'll be honest, PD5, PD6, I cannot hear a difference switching filters. The TP35 has those 5 filters. You can hear a difference if you can figure out how to do it. The on sale going to be for $80. The PD6, best green, most feature rich, excellent implementation of this ESS DAC chip. So uncolored, so clean, resolving big open stage, very light dongle, so it's got carryability, very nice. And the base has a really nice tactile punchiness to it and decay. So PD6, quite a surprise. I threw another one in the mix, that $109 Onyx Alpha. I love that dongle on certain IMs. If you can get it to power up, half of my gear, yes, half of my gear, no. My phone, yes, but the Onyx, it's a crapshoot whether it actually powers up without using a battery backup and doing the little thingy, which I don't like all the time. I mean, I don't mind it, but I don't like it, having to do that. The Onyx Alpha is, in this roundup, one of the most expensive, but it does give you the best stage out of all of these ones. The most organic sounding, best note texture. Listening to Hawkman Yim's 10 minutes of Chinese poem, a poem of Chinese drum. Wow. The bass texture, the decay, and the resonances you get off of the Onyx Alpha are worthy of the hype. The depth to the notes. It just does something that none of these other dongles that I've mentioned do to that extent, that well done. The TP35, the PD5, the PD6 actually all do beat it for resolving power. But the Onyx, its special sauce is that, a taming down of aggressive V-shaped IMs in an organic way. That's its special sauce. It does that really well. Bling factor is high. Looks fantastic. $109. Whether it works sometimes or not, that's, what day of the week it is and what am I using for source. So it's a bit of a crapshoot that way. So here's a picture of the rankings as I saw them with this roundup of dongles when it comes to, I guess, value and features overall. How would I rate them? And here's the screenshot of kind of how I felt value, performance wise. How did they rank? So you can see that. I still have other dongles that are, if you were still going for higher end sound quality. The iBasso DC07 Pro is in a different level than all of these. The DC Elite is 10 times level higher than all of these dongles. That little DC Elite competes with, in fact, I listened to it for sound quality over most of my DAPs. That's how good that thing is. So this is this roundup. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned a little bit. And I am out for now. Way more IMs on the go. Too many. Thank you for support and love you all.